Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be discussing the first half of my trip to Nepal, which was really a formative experience, and yeah, let's just jump right into it. I started off with this program, this like international program that I was meeting with a bunch of young people my age, and we all met in New York and we traveled over to Nepal, and man, that was like a long ass flight. Holy crap. It was so, I think it was like 20 something. It was over like a day. No sleep whatsoever. I can't sleep on planes for my life, and that was just the worst thing ever. We got into Kathmandu, and I remember like coming in through the from the plane, and it was like maybe like an hour in before we got into Kathmandu, and I could see the Himalayas way out. And when I say these are the tallest mountains in the world, I mean it was completely otherworldly. It was something like I had never seen before. But anyways, so we flew into Kathmandu. We had to pay like a little fine, and we met with the group leaders who were going to be taking us around all of Nepal. And one of them was actually Nepali. He was from the Sherpa tribe, and his tribe is the people that take people up to the top of Mount Everest. Like that's the ethnic group that he's a part of, the Sherpas. And so that was a really unique experience. He wasn't like he wasn't participatory in that. Yeah, it was a really cool experience to be there with him. And so we started off the program by, driving through Kathmandu. And we got to this resort on the outside in the hills out of Kathmandu. That was absolutely it was complete liminal space. Like I would wake up at 5 a.m. because I'm like ridiculously jet lagged, and it would just be like clouds. It would be like these white clouds because the sun was just like shining off of all the little water droplets. Everything was like equally bright. Does that make sense? Yeah, it was really strange. I got some really cool photos. I would wake up at like I said, like 5 a.m. every day and like write in my journal and stuff about like how I was feeling. Cause I mean, it was the jet lag mixed with the new environment, new people. I mean, it's a striking experience. And we got to know each other. Like it's about 12 people in the group, including me. So I got to get to know the other 11 people through this like beginning of the program. And also, side note, weirdly enough, this is like an international program, and somehow a friend from my high school ended up on the program with me, and a friend who I would later go to college with also ended up on the program with me. Which is, I mean, like there was people from London and Bangladesh and India on our program. I don't know what the likelihood of that was, but it was cool. It was really great to have friends, I must say. So we started at this little resort, and then we moved over to host families in actually Kathmandu, and we were based around like the Patan Durbar Square, which is just like I believe it was the royal family's residence for Patan, like the royal family that was from Patan, and that was like way back then, when there were like different kingdoms in Kathmandu. Fact check me on that. But anyways, we were all based around there, so it was good to have like a little home base, and my home wasn't too far away. And my host family was absolutely amazing. It was this sort of like upper class Nepali family, with 2 parents, 2 children, and a dog named Daisy. And some of the best photos I got were of the dog, so posting that right here. Yeah, it was really cool to, be and live with them and go through their daily life. I remember like the first day I got there at 4, and I stopped hanging out with them by like 9 p.m. It was just, I stayed around them because I really wanted to get comfortable with them and get to know them. I didn't want to like hide in my room. That's lame. It was really interesting because they had the 2 kids were about my age. The daughter who was really close, who I was really close to, I thought was really interesting, and the brother also, we have a good relationship. They would take me to like their family gatherings that was like outside and around the city, and the women always were so adamant about touching my hair and commenting on my hair, like the red hair, because being a like redheaded white man going into any country that's not Western is a very unique experience because it's always commented on. It's like it's an aspect about me that's always commented on. And the women in Nepal, actually, they also dye their hair red, but I don't dye my hair red. Wait, for the record, I do not dye my hair red. That's fake. The women in Nepal do dye their hair red, and they do it through henna, which is like the stuff that you would like write on your hands with, Yeah, it was. They were really nice, and it was great because I got to have like a really good home base when I was in Kathmandu, and then I would go to this internship that I guess I worked for at the time where I did wood carving with one of my friends, and it was really fun. I'm terrible at wood carving. It's so freaking difficult. It's a really specific trade within Nepal that is really popular and is important to the culture in many ways. It was me and my friend, and my friend's a girl, and she was like, and the friend of my mentor, who my mentor, both of our mentors was great. He was a good guy, but his friend, who actually lived in the States, was like a little bit kind of too friendly to my friend, who he realized was also lived nearby him in the States, like sort of in the same proximity. And he was like, "Oh yeah, we should really meet like when we're in the States." And both of us kind of got weird vibes from it. I don't know if that's just like cultural ignorance on our part, but still, it was just kind of like, "You have a family, bro. Like, why are you?" Anyways, great. So we had a great time in Kathmandu. Outside of that, that was fine. That wasn't even too big of a deal. But we had a really good time in Kathmandu. We even took language classes, and that really helped with getting closer with my host family and with other people. And a lot of Westerners that come into Nepal are doing it mainly just for like touristy reasons, like to like go to Pokhara and like see the mountains and like do a big like hike and walk, and it's like the whole thing. And yeah, so by knowing a little bit of Nepali, I was able to show that I was more interested in the culture than like the touristy and the consumption part of it. And that really helped build that relationship with a lot of them. Anyways, so after that, we took like a little medium day to sort of process everything that we had done in the homestays in Kathmandu, because that was pretty intense for a lot of us. Actually, one person actually decided to leave the program after it because it was pretty like she had a really tough host family. And she decided to actually leave the program after that. And yeah, so during this medium day that we had, we spent some time around the Bodhanath stupa, which is one of the famous migratory stupas in Kathmandu. And I found this really, really cool Japanese Buddhist cafe that had this like beautiful view right outside to the stupa. And it was this great place where I could like write or meditate or like drink coffee or do whatever and be in this really comfortable environment and look out to the stupa. And it was really beautiful. I can't even remember how I found it, but you had to like take your shoes off before you walked in, and it was this really homey, comforting, accepting environment that really was super unique. Yeah. And so after that, we actually went to a monastery, which was super cool. That was super interesting. So we spent 3 nights there and 2 full days. And during the 2 full days, we actually decided to do a vow of silence. I lasted like 8 hours, for the record. But it was a really cool experience because the vow of silence allowed me to sort of have a new kind of relationship with the people around me, where there wasn't a barrier of words in a way. Like, and with some people, I actually felt more connected to them when we were doing the vow of silence, because the way that we communicated through words, or the way that we communicate just like expressed ourselves, was a barrier for us to like become friends and to get to know each other. And so when we didn't have to talk anymore, we actually created a closer bond, I thought. Yeah, it was a really interesting experience. And like, we would like get lessons by the principal of this monastery, and we would like look out and we'd see some of the tallest mountains in the world, like off of the top of like where we were staying. And it was like this really unique experience. And one day I remember waking up at like 6 a.m. and going to the morning prayer, which had all the little monk children, which are like 8 years old and wearing like really like tight like circle glasses. It was really cute. But you got to wonder, like, why are these little children here in a monastery? And it was probably, okay, first of all, it's probably because their parents couldn't afford to like, you know, like support their lifestyle, so they sent them to a monastery. That's the more serious note. But the other note is that they could just like be bad children, and you know, you get sent to a monastery and you become a Buddhist monk. So I mean, you know, I don't know, that's kind of a weird dichotomy right there. Yeah, I guess it's like the equivalent of like sending your kid to boarding school in the States. But I went to boarding school. I wasn't a bad kid, I swear. Yeah, that's it for today. That's for part 1 at least. I'll discuss a little bit more about the monastery and then go into the rural homestay that we did in the next video. So thank you for watching. Catch you on the next one. Bye.